Okay then guys, just a little overview of the C3 Pure Mathematics paper for WJEC from January 2009. It's a 1.5 hour long paper, of course, as usual. But let's just have a little look at this question paper before we go through it question by question. Got all the instructions here, of course, what we've got to hand, our booklet, calculator, answer all questions, show you methods used, use good English, and you can see the marks on the right hand side. Here's Simpson's rule then, the first question. Fairly standard question, although can be on times a little time consuming, but still it's definitely one to do because of the level of difficulty is not high. There's a little tweak here at the end here, approximate value for this integral based on this calculation. All we need to do is move the 2 down using properties of logs and we can work it out. This one, we've got this counterexample here, where we try simple values of theta to start with, so we try 0, 90 and 60 are all the top 3 contenders to work out to find a counterexample. Here's a trig equation. It's going to be a quadratic in sec, isn't it, when we replace tan squared, and that will be easy. Factorize, and then sec will be replaced by 1 over cos, and we can work out cosines and the trig values there. So that's a nice question there. 8 marks for that question. Number 3, implicit function, implicit differentiation. Inputting values x and y, nice standard question. Tiny bit of work there, but nothing much. dx dt, dy dt, we can then get dy dx, and then work out the value of t that results from it. So that's a nice question to do, nice and straightforward, and get some good marks for that one. 11 marks for that question. Sketch of this graph and that graph, straight line and cubic, easy to draw, and then we can clearly see when we rearrange these two things when they cross, there's going to be one solution here, and then we just use this recurrence relation here to establish the value of the roots. So we get the first 4 values when we start with x0, then we get these subsequent 4 values here, and then we verify that x4 is the value to 4dp. Okay, that's a fairly standard question. Just one point to note perhaps when you do these is when you get a value for x4, you'll get it to say, you'll get an answer, say, to 4dp. But then to find a solution to 4dp for alpha, you'd need to try boundary values. So have a look at that question a little bit carefully, because it can be awkward on times, but it's the same in principle every time. 5, differentiation, function of a function, function of a function, standard derivatives, of course, and then quotient rule here. And this one, implicit function, dx, differentiate with respect to x1, tan goes to sec squared, dy dx. So it's very easy to find dy dx, isn't it, in terms of x, using the trig identities as well. This is a modulus question here, nice inequality here. No problem whatsoever is there with the question 6. So it's looking like a fairly nice paper with lots of good questions to do. 7, standard integrals, definite integral here. So again, no problem there whatsoever. This one, 8, let's have a look at the end of the paper now. Log, sketch this as a shift and then a minus. Should be fairly easy to draw. And then domains, inverses, and domains and ranges of the inverse. Standard fair, really, again, for 9. And 10. Doesn't look very nice, doesn't look very user-friendly, and not very many marks for it. So I'd be inclined to leave that one to the very end. It is question 10 anyways. But again, just tedious perhaps. So perhaps the recurrence relation question, if I was doing the paper, and the Simpson's rule, I would probably leave towards the latter part of the exam, simply because they are time consuming, and try and concentrating on getting as many marks as possible in as short a time as possible. The only other thing I'd like to mention about this exam, I can get the page to stay where it is when you have a go, when you've got an hour and a half, go through all the questions, tick them off when you've done them, and then when you get time at the end of the exam, if there is time, go through them again, double check them all, or as many as possible, as quickly as possible. When you've double checked them all, and if there is still time, then triple check. So in other words, don't waste a moment of this precious time, because you've put an awful lot of work in, and you've only got 90 minutes to put all that work to good benefit. So all the best then guys if you've got a C3 paper in the near future, and all the best with this smart worksheet. I hope you enjoy it, and as I say, usually any feedback is always appreciated. So I'll catch you again, and all the best. Cheers.